This afternoon, my task is going to be to walk us down the road, the journey that has got us to this point we are today in launching 3FLEX. And it all started with a quest, an ultimate goal of providing a flexible vaccination platform. And let's look at that, and we'll be providing some information on the efficacy and the safety of 3FLEX today. So, when this began, the ultimate goal was to provide a flexible one-dose vaccine to immunize piglets against PRRS virus, mycoplasma, and PCV2. So the question was, how do we achieve the goal? Well, the first step is we have to identify a good adjuvant. An adjuvant that can be administered in a small volume, an adjuvant that will work as a one-dose, and an adjuvant that has the ability to work in conjunction with multiple antigens. The second task we knew we had to do was to develop a safe and effective PCV2 vaccine. We also knew that Boehringer Ingelheim's current Ingelheim vaccine would not work in this flexible platform. And so R&D knew that the mycoplasma vaccine had to be reinvented, and that's what they did. And finally, was to get the circovirus vaccine, the mycoplasma vaccine, and additionally a third, a PRRS vaccine, to be combined together to be administered one time to pigs, to young pigs, in a low dose volume. And this was the ultimate goal, and R&D started out on the quest to do that. So, the first step was to identify the adjuvant. Now, like I said earlier, the adjuvant needed to be novel, it needed to be unique. We knew that it needed not to have any mineral oil components added to it, and it needed to have all the characteristics previously described. So what we did is we found that Impranflex was that adjuvant. It's an aqueous polymer, no mineral oil here. It has synthetic polymeric chains of various lengths that's going to allow a staged release of an antigen. We got antigen that's going to be released quickly, and antigen that's going to release slowly over time that's bound in the polymeric strands. The adjuvant had excellent one-dose efficacy, and it was safe, and it was easy to inject. It was very syringeable. So we knew we had the first one captured with Impranflex. So we moved on. Had to find the right antigen. So what we designed was a vectored vaccine. It was a baculovirus expression system where open reading frame 2 of the porcine circovirus was inserted into the genome. And when open reading frame 2 was expressed, it created the nucleocapsid, the immunogenic portion of PCV2. The expressed proteins were then cleaned through a proprietary cleaning process that resulted in a purified circovirus antigen. It was then combined with the Impranflex, and you can see behind me how that looked. In the Impranflex, there's going to be free porcine circovirus antigen that's free and not bound in the polymeric strands, that's free and ready to be quickly absorbed. And there's also going to be a portion of the circovirus antigen that's going to be bound within the polymers, and it's going to provide a depot effect. And this is how Impranflex is able to take a killed vaccine and it work in a 2-dose fashion through one injection. So, we had an adjuvant, we had an antigen. Now the next question we need to answer was, how well did it work? And most of you in this room are aware that the field staff, the sales force and the PSV team, Boehringer Ingelheim, has been very, very busy and very active in field trials. And here's behind me is a meta-analysis of 10 of those field trials involving, Circoflex. Now, this is a forest plot analysis, and what needs to happen with the forest plot is all the materials and methods need to be similar, have similar materials and methods. The larger the size of the box, the larger the number of replicants. The length of the line is related to the variation that's present between the treatments and controls. Draw your attention to the vertical line, and results that favors one particular treatment will be on one side of the line. And in this forest plot, any of the trials that favored the controls would have been on the left of the center line, and any trials that favored CircleFlex would have been found on the right. The green diamond at the bottom is a grand sum of the means of all of 10 of the trials. Show you behind us is 9 of those 10 trials were significantly different than the controls, and 1 was numerically greater than the controls, but not statistically different represented. So R&D had achieved what they set out to do. They had created a consistent, very effective circovirus vaccine. That task was accomplished. What was the next task? The next task was to reinvent the Ohio vaccine. And MycoFlex is that vaccine. It has the same antigen as CircleFlex. It has the ImpranFlex adjuvant. It's compatible with CircleFlex, and it's also compatible with Engelvac PERS MLV. It's also a 1-dose, 1 ml product. It has a great long duration of immunity of at least 26 weeks. And it also is efficacious as existing products on the market. Here's a study. In this study, see the lung lesion scores against competitive 1- and 2-dose products on the marketplace. And my apologies, the superscripts did not make it up there, and I apologize. There is a statistical difference between all of the groups and the strict controls, and all of the vaccinate groups and the non-vaccinate controls represented at the bottom. And you see a dramatic decrease in lung lesions between the groups. So, MycoFlex and CircleFlex was very effective, very safe, and very effective. So, the next aspect was, can they be combined together? And you can see the concept behind me, added to the ImpranFlex, where you have the free antigen, in this case the yellow representing CircleFlex and the red representing MycoFlex in the Impran. And then you also see some that's bound to the polymers. And those two were found to be compatible to combine and was USDA licensed. And the USDA licensed product is called Flex. So, we had effective circovirus vaccine, had effective mycoplasma vaccine. Now we had a USDA licensed combination vaccine. So how effective is that product? Study here, and where 19 pigs were vaccinated with Flex, and 19 pigs were non-vaccinated, and both treatment groups were challenged, and there was a set of strict controls that were non-vaccinated and non-challenged. They vaccinated 21 days of age, they were challenged 33 days later, and the animals were necropsied and lung lesions were scored 28 days after that. The challenge in this portion of the pigs that were vaccinated with both CircleFlex and MycoFlex was just a mycoplasma challenge. See the lung lesion differentials behind me? The non-vaccinated control pigs had 14.3% lung lesions, while the vaccinated challenged pigs, Flex vaccinated challenged pigs, had 3.9% lung lesions, which was statistically different. And like you would expect, and like we would hope to find, the strict challenge pigs had no lung lesions. So, the Flex vaccine worked on a mycoplasma challenge. Well, did it work on a PCV2 challenge? So the same trial was repeated. In this case, there was 24 CD/CD pigs in each treatment group, and the pigs were vaccinated with Flex or non-vaccinated, and then they were challenged 31 days later. And 25 days after that, the lymph nodes were scored for PCV2 type lesions. And this would include lymphoid depletion, lymph node inflammation, and IHC scoring. And you can see the results behind me. In the vaccinated pigs, 0 out of 24 pigs had lymphoid depletion, while in the non-vaccinated challenged pigs, 20 out of 24 had lymphoid depletion. Lymphoid inflammation, 1 out of 24 in the Flex vaccinates, 21 out of 24 in the non-vaccinated controls. And IHC positives, 2 out of 24 did have circovirus in the lymph node, and 22 out of 24 was IHC positive non-vaccinated controls. So, CircoFlex worked. Okay? Next question to ask was, how safe was it? Okay? So, to answer this question, we decided to compare against some products that are currently on the marketplace. And so there were a group of pigs that were vaccinated with CircoFlex. There was a group of pigs that were vaccinated with MycoFlex. There was a group of pigs that were vaccinated with the Flex mixture. And finally, a group of pigs that were vaccinated with Circumvent and the M plus pack mixture. And finally, a fifth group to evaluate the safety of just the vaccination process itself, and pigs were vaccinated with saline. Now, pigs were observed pre-injection and then again 6 hours post-injection. And this is an adaptation, a willingness to approach adaptation that's taken from the 2003 National Pork Board Swine Welfare Assurance Program. Now, you can see that we've got some pictures. If you knew this individual right here, you'd know why the pigs are running and trying to climb the walls to get away from him. I can understand that. But I hope these pictures will illustrate to you what we actually are observing here, is that pigs, after a period of time, are not willing to approach in the picture on the left, and that the pigs on the right are very willing to approach. It's easy to see the difference between those groups. Now, in this, the scorer is blinded to the treatments, okay, and treatment was applied by pen. Observe the results. There was no difference in the baseline willingness to approach, pre-injection behavior. Only numeric differences are not statistically significant. And then 6 hours post-injection behavior, we see that there was a significant difference with the Circumvent plus M plus pack group as compared to all of the other treatment groups. The CircoFlex vaccinated pigs, the MycoFlex and the CircoFlex plus MycoFlex combination pigs were not different from the control, the saline being the control group in this study. So, just to recap one more time, we had a flex combination vaccine. Very convenient, very easy to use, seemed to be very effective, and seemed to be very safe. Now, how does it react in the field? I want to present this data to you because this is some of the most recent data that has been brought forward. This is fairly new data, and it actually is out of Canada. The reason bringing it forth is just because it's new, and I want to share it. So there were 2 treatment groups, and one group got 2 mLs, 1 dose, 1 full dose of the Flex mixture at 3 weeks of age, and then the second treatment group got 2 half doses of Circumvent that is mixed with Respissure 1 and administered to pigs at 3 and 6 weeks of age. Now, in this study, there was 532 pigs per treatment group, the Flex group and the Circumvent plus Respissure 1. And let me call your attention to the differences in average daily gain, with the Circumvent group having 823 grams per day, an average daily gain, and the Flex mixture having 880 grams per day. Also, there was very, very large differences in the mortality seen. So, it appeared that Flex was very effective and very safe. Let you absorb that for a moment. And also, very economically significant. So, what more could we ask for this flexible platform that we had so far in the Flex combination? And in fact, it's worked so well that these products have become industry leaders in their own rights. And so, as you would expect from the industry leaders, you would expect great things to happen, and that's exactly what we've seen with the Flex combination. It's the first and only licensed product to protect with a single dose against PCV2 and MHIO. But the journey wasn't done. So the question was, what's next? The ultimate goal, I remind you, was a combination product that included CircoFlex, MycoFlex, plus PERS. 3 of the most common agents involved in PRDC into one injection, one dose, one time. So this is what was created. The ability of the Flex product to be combined and mixed with PERS MLV to create 3FLEX. Along with those same questions that we asked with CircleFlex and MicroFlex and the Flex combination, we also started asking with 3FLEX. Is the product safe? And in this study, there were weaned pigs from 18 to 25 days, very conventional genetics, very conventional production practices. And the pigs were assigned to one of treatment groups. And there's 3 different participating sites in this study. Pigs were injected intramuscularly, and the treatment groups were commingled during the study. All pigs were observed for clinical abnormalities and systemic or local injection reactions for at least 2 hours post-injection, and then daily for the next 14 days. Let me show you the materials and methods. 2 different treatment groups, 3 different sites, 675 pigs per treatment group, and clinical observations were observed. Now, there were some clinical abnormalities observed in this study. Let me read to you the clinical abnormalities. Scours, coughing, pneumonia, greasy pig, lethargy, lameness, hernias, death. A lot of normal, common commercial pig production problems, as you can see. Now, the interesting thing is those 2 products, there was no statistical difference between those clinical abnormalities seen between the 2 treatment groups. The 2 treatment groups being 3FLEX versus saline. So I think you can agree with me that 3FLEX probably isn't causing a lot of greasy pigs. But it was observed, it was noted, and it was shown there. But there was no difference between the treatment groups. There was no systemic, nor was there any local injection site reactions observed in any of the pigs, regardless of treatment group. Okay, so it appeared safe. Was it effective? The 3FLEX combination. So, there's 3 independent and double-blinded lab trials. Each trial, the pigs were vaccinated with 3FLEX, and in each of these 3 different trials, the pigs were challenged with a virulent challenge being either PCV2 or MHIO or PERS MLV. And then you can see the primary parameters that were observed for efficacy being the PERS, gross lung pathology, same for MHIO, and lymphoid depletion and IHC detection in the lymph nodes for the PCV2 challenge. The results. In the PERS challenge study, lung lesions were decreased from 32.9% to 4.5%. So, it appeared that pigs that were vaccinated with 3FLEX and challenged for PERS, it was very effective. In the MHIO challenge study, lung lesions were decreased from 10.6% to 3.8%. Once again, pigs vaccinated with 3FLEX and challenged with MHIO, it appeared to be very effective. And in the last study, pigs vaccinated with 3FLEX and challenged with PCV2, we see the amount of lymphoid depletion significantly different, as well as the amount of IHC positive lymph nodes being very, very significant also. So, well, that's fine and dandy, but that may not represent what we would normally expect to see in a commercial herd. And very, very seldom do we commonly see just a single pathogen challenge. So what would happen to a group of pigs if we vaccinated them with 3FLEX and then we challenged them concurrently with PERS, with circovirus, and with MHIO? So that study was set up. Okay? Healthy pigs were vaccinated, materials and methods. Healthy pigs were vaccinated at about 21 days of age. They were challenged 31 days later, and finally they were necropsied. Lung lesions were analyzed, and lymph nodes were analyzed on day 56. Excuse me. Okay. clinical observers, the laboratory technicians, the pathologists were all blinded to treatment in this study. So the results, that's, again, a slide, excuse me. I should have turned that slide and showed that to you. That was a summary slide, the materials and methods. And the results we see here, that in this triple challenge where there was pigs were concurrently administered a virulent challenge of PERS and MHIO and PCV2, the only group, as you would expect, that showed significant difference in average daily game respiration score, gross lung lesion scores, and PCV2 IHC scores was the pigs that were vaccinated with 3FLEX. So 3FLEX is safe and it's effective. Now the advantage to 3FLEX, we all have had experience in using the monovalents in the field. They're great products. We may have experience using the Flex products in the field. Once again, a great product. We have experience in using the PERS vaccine. For the first time, we've got the opportunity with a USDA license to mix these three products together for administration to pigs. Not only can we do that, but we can do that in one dose and a small injection. Getting to the end of it. In summary, the trivalent mixture provided protection against all three pathogens while improving clinical scores. This is consistent with many of the other studies. You might see that a lot of the studies we showed today, the results were very, very similar at the end. Okay? Just like we would expect, when these market leaders come together, we would expect to see rock-solid performance with this Flex platform. Excuse me. Diagram. For the first time, we can mix these three powerful market-leading vaccines into one shot. Again, in this one shot protects against three of the most important components of PRDC in pigs. Once again, it is registered by APHIS, first of its kind. Today, we have the Flex combination. The future, it says, is 3FLEX. And today we're very proud to tell you the future is today. Now, this journey that we've talked about wasn't very short. It took 10 years of dedicated work by our R&D department to get us to this. So maybe we ought to designate Hug Your R&D person today, but is Mark still over there? Yeah. So we're very, very proud of our R&D department. So, all of this material is available at the website, engelvacCircleflex.com. We'll welcome you and invite you to go there and check out the material. And we know, by having these three products mixed together, that the pigs will be better together by using these three products.